Alright folks, this is a new CrossBreed holster just arrived today. I chose to get the horsehide leather, and the horsehide does not have the option of coming in black. It just comes in natural color, which is fine. Horsehide has a tendency to have a tighter grain, and plus it's been treated with neat's foot, and it's a little bit thinner, but it has a tighter grain. So it's a little bit better for preventing moisture from entering into the leather itself. It does not mean that it's waterproof. I might go as far as saying it might be just water resistant, but once again, because of the tightness of the grains, it prevents moisture from coming in, or it's a little bit more difficult for moisture to get in. So I have other horsehide holsters, Kramer being one of them. That's an outside of the waistband that I like a lot. So a little bit more durable, it's thinner, and it's a tighter grain, so it'll work a little bit better for moisture. These are the clips. These are the standard clips. You can see the crosses on the CrossBreed clips here. They have other ones that are the J clips, and I believe the J clips, what they do is they hook up underneath the belt. So what that does is, if you're drawing your firearm, the holster will not come out from underneath your pants because it's actually hooked up onto the belt. I chose not to get the option. I just chose to get the regular ones. If I were to choose to get the other options, you could always contact CrossBreed and order those separately. This is a Smith Wesson J-frame snubby. The firearm has been double checked, so we are dealing with the empty cylinder over here. And one of the things that I forgot to mention to CrossBreed was that I have an unfluted cylinder. And what happens is, if you see here, the Kydex is fluted. So when I slip the firearm in, it does not snap in place, as you'll see. If the leather, or if the Kydex was actually not fluted, then it would, if this is the firearm here, it would lay on the firearm itself. And then that means that this front trigger guard area and the trigger guard area of my firearm, they would actually snap in place. But because the flutes are here, everything is away from the firearm and it's not snapping in place. So as per the CrossBreed Holsters YouTube page, you can actually heat up this material here, and we're going to try to get rid of the flute here, try to reshape it, and we'll go from there. So let's see. I'm going to go through the process here and see if it works. So stand by. Okay, so what we have here is, all I'm really trying to do is get rid of the flute over here. So I put a damp washcloth, and I covered pretty much everything else. I'm leaving the firearm out for the moment, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start heating up this area right here. And just heat it up till it starts getting soft to the touch. Once it starts getting soft to the touch, I'm going to try to insert the firearm and try to work the flute out. So let's see if this is enough. And I'll be back. It's starting to get soft, but not just yet. Alright, just give it a try. Ooh, it's pretty hot. Alright. I worked some of the flute out, but not completely. But that is a lot better. You can try a little bit more, retry the process. And I want to try to get the flute completely out of there. And I'm going to try to press this little area right here in too, because actually I don't have a flute here either. and I think I can get a little closer. So I'm going to re-moisten the towel again, and I'll be back. I'm going to try to heat up this area here and a little bit of this area right here. And then once we get a nice tight fit, then I'll start working on the trigger and see if I can get that a little tighter. But it is much, much better. So I'll be back. Let me go put some more water on this wash rag. Alright, we're back. Let's try it again. Slip that puppy in there, mold it. I'm actually going to use the towel because it's very, very hot to the touch, as you can imagine. And I just want to mold that in there. Get rid of that flute if possible. I'm using the, like I said, the towel because the first time I did it, it was pretty doggone hot. And I should have used a glove. I was pretty dumb, just didn't think about it. And I'm figuring that with the cold towel, it'll draw some of the heat away and actually cool the Kydex a little bit quicker. So we'll see. Looks like the flute is just about gone. It did come in here a little bit more, which is good. And I'm pretty happy with that. I could actually probably get that in a little closer right around this area here. And I'll probably sink this in a little bit more over in this area so that it's got a good retention, but it looks pretty good. I know some guys don't like the holster too tight because what's going to happen, or the Kydex too tight, because what's going to happen is once you put the holster on, let me back it out a little bit here, it's actually going to fold and conform to the body, and that folding is actually going to tighten it up a little bit. So some people don't like it too tight, but we'll see. I'm going to play it by ear here, and I do want to tighten this up just a little bit more. I do want to get a little snap. And I think I can bring this in a little bit more over here too. So this is pretty good. I actually got rid of almost all the flute there. Just about. So let's try it again. Do it like that. And I am going to try to get rid of, like I said, this little area right here. I'm thinking about it. Should probably take the pistol out of there. It's probably acting like a heat sink and dissipating the heat, taking the heat away from the Kydex into the cylinder itself. So alrighty, slip it in there. I'm gonna push that in there. Dang, it's hot. Alright, and I'm trying to push this little corner right here that I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to push that in to get a good shape. Probably should have used maybe a butter knife or something there. Probably would have worked a little bit better. Pretty happy with that. It shaped pretty doggone good. Actually, I'm really happy with that. The flute's almost completely gone now. Very, very slight, but it's minimal. Looks good. Okay, now I'm going to work on this part over here. See if I could get it in there a little bit more, and we'll go from there. So, find the wet spot of the rag. Actually, we just need to cover that like such. Get rid of this. Alright, push that puppy in there. You see how it's very soft and pliable. Use the rag here to press that in. Even through the rag I can feel the heat of the Kydex. Alright, actually I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty good. It's actually a really nice fit. Okay, well let's try it on and see how it fits with the bend and everything of the body. But it seems to be pretty doggone nice. Also, just as a side note, I did not get the combat cut, which actually, if you see here when I reach in, you can see my finger, this finger right here, it hits this leather. So I'm going to cut out a little section of the leather. You could actually get, I believe it's called the combat cut, and it's like maybe an extra 15 bucks. But I just got the regular cut, and I'll try it. And if I needed the combat cut or cutting out a little notch here, I would just do it myself, which looks like I'm probably going to have to do anyways. I work with leather, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But we'll see. But I could definitely see my finger hitting right here. So I don't want anything, no leather here. I'm going to totally get rid of this leather. So I might do something like this. Maybe cut it out like that. And come up here. Just take a slight little bit out of it there. Alright, so I'll be back, but it looks pretty good so far. Got the majority of the flute out from the inside. I cannot almost feel anything. And this little area right here is just almost cosmetic. It's almost from the outside you can see it. Can't even feel it on the inside. So everything is good, and I got rid of the little area here. I actually pressed it down. I would actually recommend maybe a butter knife or something, and put a butter knife right there when it's soft, you know, over a rag or something. Like maybe put the rag down, put the butter knife in. I could have maybe got it in there a little bit deeper, but it looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. Okay, so I'm over here done. I played with it a little bit more, melted a little bit more. I did like I was saying a little bit earlier, and I put like a knife over here, so I got this pressed in a little bit better. It started flaring out over here a little bit more. And I noticed that be careful when you're heating something up, because some of the heat might be coming in through here and actually comes out through here and starts melting this area over here, which I didn't notice. But it started flaring out. I don't know. I fixed it up anyway. So I indented this a little bit more. So now you can see it's got a really nice, snaps in there really good. And if you turn it upside down and shake it, it's in there pretty solid. You can see I probably have a couple of new indentations over here because I was playing with it, figuring out for size and everything, or for fit, which way I like it, deeper in the belt line or up a little bit higher, a little bit shifted forward toward the front of my body, or my 3 o'clock position, or my 4 o'clock position. So just playing with a couple of different things. You're going to notice over here also that I took out some of that leather that I was talking about, and it feels a lot better because now I could actually put my finger in there as far as I can. But I am noticing that this is going to be up against her body right here. Let me zoom out a little bit more. This part here is going to be up against your body. So when I grab it, I guess you're expected to grab it like this, because this is kind of hard to get your hand back there when you're doing a quick draw to pull it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do something similar to their combat cut. So I'm going to flip it over, and you're going to see how I marked it. And that's pretty much where I'm going to cut it. I want to make sure that when I grab it, I'm just going to go straight up and grab it from my waistband, that there's no leather being grabbed. So actually I lost part of my thumb in an accident there, but anyways, so I'm going to cut it like that, and I'm going to try to smooth that out, make it rounded out as best as I can. I'm trying to take the least amount of leather off that I can. This area right here is that area that I was talking about right here, that I was making contact with. So I want to be able to grab it, and I want to have no contact with the leather at all. So we'll see. But so far it feels fantastic. It's really, really nice. Like I said, it snaps in there. You can actually hear it. And it's not coming out. It's pretty solid. So I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so let me go finish cutting like I said, and we'll go from there. So it's going to look similar to that. So shall be back. Okay, so I'm back, and this is the final product here. It's been about a day since I played with this, because I actually finished it off and I was wearing it the other day, trying to break it in. But here's the finished product, and like I was telling you before, I wanted to be able to grab that pistol, or the little revolver right here, and you can see the little notch. So I'm grabbing it, and that's actually my firing position. And as I flip it over, you're going to see none of my hand is actually touching the leather. And that's exactly what I wanted. This would be similar to their combat cut, but this is custom made over here. If you're confident with your leather, your ability to cut the leather and trim it out and everything, I would suggest that you do not get the combat cut and just get the regular one, and then just make the cut yourself. Alright, so which is what I did, because I just wasn't sure if I was going to like the combat cut or not. And after wearing it, I decided that yes, I did want the combat cut. So once again, it is an empty cylinder, because it's been a day since I did all this cutting, and I've been wearing my revolver. And this is what it looks like right here. So you can see the cut. So what I did was, after I finished cutting it, I'm going to explain these tools. There's something called an edger. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's called an edger. And this is a leather working tool. And what happens is you get on the very, very edge of the leather that you just cut, and you trim out pieces. This is an example of what it does. If this is the leather, looking at it from the edge view, when you cut the leather, you're going to have sharp 45 or 90 degree angles. But the edger does is it shaves off the edges to like nice 45 degrees or whatever, so now it's nice and round. And that's what I did here. I shaved off the fronts, a little sliver comes out, then I flipped it over, shaved off the back, same thing, a little sliver came out, so now it's nice and shaved. Once I was done with that, you still have an open seam. The seam is still open. The grains are exposed, and you get something called a burnisher. It's almost like getting your finger and just rubbing the leather very, very, very hard, and it actually closes everything, and it closes up the grain. So whether it be water or whether it be dye or whatever, it's very hard to get in there. If I'm working with leather, usually you would do all your dyeing first, and then once all your dyeing and everything is done, then you'd go ahead and use a burnishing tool, and then you close up the seams. If you have a leather belt, look down at your leather belt, look at the edges. If the belt's of any quality, it's going to be burnished and sealed. So that's what these two tools are right here. And that's what I did with this. So this is actually completed now. It feels very, very nice. It feels good. Very, very comfortable. I'm very, very happy with it. Like I said, the revolver snaps in there really nicely. It's a good hold. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with it right now. I did wear it for the first time the other day, and it did squeak a lot. But like they said, there's tricks to get the squeaking to stop. You could add different things, or just wear it, and after about a day or two it stops. So for me, it doesn't even squeak no more. I only wore it like one day and a half, and it's already stopped squeaking. So I'm digging it right now a lot. So once again, that's my grab. That's how usually I grab the pistol or the revolver, and you can see none of my hand is actually touching the leather, and that's exactly what I wanted. So okay, let me put it on and I'll show you what it looks like on. This is for behind the back. They have another model that's a little bit different. I guess when you place your order, give them a call. Probably place your order by phone, and you could ask them, or they will ask you, are you gonna want rear carry, like the 3 o'clock at your hip, or a little bit farther back, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock position behind your hip, or if you're gonna be carrying it in front, like around the 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock position, like above your package if you're a guy. I believe that they're a little bit narrower. They have different versions, and I can't really remember my conversation too much, but I believe she said that the other version, if you're going to carry it in the front by your package, it's going to be like maybe a ½ inch narrower, so not as wide. So I'm trying to figure out right now where it feels most comfortable. It feels actually most comfortable behind my hip around the 4 o'clock position, but it's also a little bit more difficult to draw quickly, and it's also a little bit more difficult to tuck in your shirt over the holster so that the firearm is concealed. If you put it in the front of your waist above your package, it's a lot faster to draw, but it's not as easy to, or how do I say this? It's faster to draw, it's easier to conceal, but it's not as comfortable. So like if you sit down, you'll feel it. You have to like maybe adjust your waist a little bit or adjust your belt a little bit. So I'm gonna play with it a little bit, see which way feels a little bit better. If I'm gonna keep it for the 4 o'clock position behind my hip, I'm gonna leave it as is, because the width is actually made like that on purpose, because it spreads out the weight a little bit more, and it's a lot more comfortable. But if I'm gonna put it toward the front, then I'm probably gonna trim it out, and I might probably move this clip here, because this is gonna be toward my zipper right here. I'm right-handed, so it's going to go down my my pants, and my zipper is going to be right around here. So I'll probably bring this clip in like about maybe a 1/4 inch. So I might cut this out a little bit from the bottom, a little bit straighter, and move this one in. If I decide to keep it for the rear at the 4 o'clock position, I'm just going to leave it as is, because right now it's like super comfortable. I'm totally digging it. If I put it toward the front of my pants, when I sit down, I could feel these. And there's actually no need for this at all, in my opinion, if it's going to go in the front above your package. So that's it. So let me show you what it looks like when I have it on in both positions, at the 4 o'clock and at the I guess 12 o'clock position, and you guys can make a decision then. Once again, CrossBreed holsters, they're awesome. They are a little on the expensive side, but they're made well, and I totally dig horse leather. I dig the design. It's a hybrid design, so it's Kydex, metal, and hide. So I'm totally digging it. So I'll be back in a second. I'll show you what it looks like when it's on. Okay, here I am with the holster in place. It's at the 4 o'clock position behind my hip. These are just regular Levi jeans. You can see what it looks like. Have a regular t-shirt on. I believe this is a 1½ inch, just a nylon belt. Alright. So it's very comfortable in this position. It's actually over here. You could probably see a little bit. I mean, if you're looking, you're going to see it. You're going to probably see the little clips also. One of the things that's nice is it's concealable. You can't really feel it. After a while it like disappears. You don't even know you're wearing it. But it's a little bit harder to reach back and grab it. But it is good because once again it is comfortable, and I like carrying a knife always in the front. I always carry a knife since I was like 13 years old in the front. So here it is at the 4 o'clock position. There you go, 4 o'clock position. Okay, and here it is at the 6 o'clock position. Same thing, just have regular jeans on. Same 1.5 inch belt. But as you can see now, I lost the positioning for my knife. I never ever carry knives in my pocket. I've always carried them in the front. But you can see there, it pretty much disappears. And I guess it depends on your body shape. But that's what it looks like in the front. And in the front I like it. It's gone. It's very, very easy to conceal. Very, very easy to draw. It's just a matter of it's right here. One, it's out. Your holster. And for you guys that don't know, you have a clip here and you have a clip here, and that's where you're going to be tucking in your shirts. So tuck it in the front, tuck it in the front area, front of the pistol, then in the back, and that's it. Fluff it out a little bit. Oops, it's in there a little bit better. Fluff it out a little bit. That's it. Totally concealed again. So I'm digging the holster. It's an awesome concept, very comfortable. It's a little bit wide here in the front. You can see the rear clip is here and the front clip is here. I have about a 32-inch waist, so I'd have to bring it in just a little bit. Just a smidgen, like, you know, maybe the 1/2 inch that they said is the difference, if I were to decide to go that way. Also, when the bottom is right here of the holster, so when I sit down I could actually feel it a little bit. So I would trim out the little things to actually go like a V shape down like this. So it goes like that. So if I decide to go with the front, which I don't know, I'm not sure yet, I'm still playing with it. It is new to me back there, but like I said, if you do have to tuck it in or something, I don't have a mirror. Right now I'm looking at the screen of my the camera, but I don't have a mirror, so you have to tuck in this side and you don't really know what's going on back there, and when it's finally tucked in you don't know if it's right or not. But when you have it right here in front, you can actually just look down and you can see that it's tucked in fine. If it actually comes up a little bit, you know, you could always physically look down, tuck it back in there, and that's no biggie. So that's a plus for having it in the front. California law is kind of weird because from my understanding, let's just say you're a gangbanger and you get caught with a firearm out in the street, it could be a misdemeanor. But let's just say you have someone that has a concealed carry permit and they're in a store and all of a sudden they're reaching up to grab something and it shows a little bit and someone calls it in, it's escalated. It's much higher than a misdemeanor. So it's kind of like the concealed carry permit people get shafted more than just like a regular gangbanger getting caught with a firearm out in the street. So you want to really, really make sure that you don't freak people out. This never comes undone. When you do it, it's correctly done. And once again, I'm in the great state of California. So I like it in the front. I've always carried in the front. My H&K, if I know I have like a jacket or something, my H&K I carry back here. And that's a little bit different. It's just a different firearm and everything. But there you go. So pretty happy with it. Highly, highly recommend it. They are a little on the expensive side, but just think about it. They have really, really good policies for return, for repair and everything. If it needs to adjust it a little bit, you could always send it in, or you can just, they'll talk you through it on the phone. So once again, that's the CrossBreed holster. And you make a decision if it's for you or not. Thanks for watching the video, guys.